Hello, welcome. It's your big dog teacher back at it again with a little bit of a rant. I'm a little pissed off. I'm a little annoyed and frustrated. And I think I have a right to be because I'm very confused. I went on Twitter the other day. Mistake. I never go on Twitter. I've never really gone on Twitter. My whole life, I've kind of just like kept Twitter out, which such a good idea in hindsight because I went on it like one time. I went on it 2 times, and now I'm so angry. Now I'm so angry, and the reason for that is because everyone is yelling about everything, and they're all wrong. Everyone's wrong, and I'm confused at how that's possible. I just I hate that all these social media platforms and all these companies and everything that we have is built on this model to keep people responding with no way of fact checking, no way of growing the human mind and learning as a collective. Everyone's just arguing in this endless war of of and entrenching themselves in their own beliefs. And that's all it is. It's just everyone yelling their own beliefs at everyone else and no one changing anything. And it's horrible. It's just like where does it end? Because the only way I can see something being right, the only way something is correct in my mind, the only way something is truthful in my mind is if it is backed up by research and evidence and facts and all that good stuff. And I think most people would agree with that until you go on Twitter or X. God, the worst name ever. Which reminds me of old gamer tags from 13-year-olds. Anyway, whoa. Don't know where that came from. I guess I'm pissed at the whole system. But I think most people would agree with that. But unfortunately, you go on there and you notice that it doesn't feel like anyone does on either side. Because everyone is so deep in their own beliefs that anytime they see a fact that doesn't align with their beliefs, they just immediately scream that it's wrong. They immediately say that person was paid, or they're trying to get you to believe this for this reason, or they're lying to you. And I just don't understand it. I don't understand how you can have so little trust in everything that ensures the world. When you stop believing that, when you stop believing experts and scientists and researchers and people who spend their whole life trying to understand one question, when no one, a freaking nobody who just hangs out on their couch, stops believing that person and starts believing other people like you about that question, then what's the point? Where does that end? Where does it go? If you can't rely on anything to structure your worldview, if you can't rely on anything, then what is stopping the whole thing from falling apart? I don't get it. What is the benefit? For example, nutrition. So many things go around about nutrition that's just made up. There's so much about how seed oils are bad for you, how vitamins are really, really good for you and you need them or you're going to die. There's so many brain pills and supplements you can buy on stores. There's some on online stores. There's so many like the freaking carnivore diet and the raw meat diet and the keto. Keto, I don't actually know anything about keto, so I'm not going to comment on that. But there's so many of these things. And almost none of them have any basis in science. It's just someone who says something that sounds smart. For example, seed oils have this one thing in them, this one protein that when digested turns into this other protein, and that other protein has been found to be linked to heart disease. And that's where the original myth came from, was this seed oils have this in abundance, which gets turned into your body by this, which causes heart disease. They're bad for you. They're going to kill you. You need all these. You need to buy my supplements to take care of that for you. You need to buy my oils to take care of that for you. No more ultra-processed foods in your diet, blah, 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 blah. Okay. The thing about that is that the problem with these people is that the protein that they're talking about in seed oils only realistically in your body gets changed, like 0.2% of it gets changed into that chemical or whatever it is, or that protein that can in abundance can cause heart disease. And 0.2% is not that much when you're not ingesting that many seed oils. Obviously, a ton of seed oils, if you're drinking seed oil, bad for you. Just like if you're drinking any oil. If you're eating too much of anything, it's going to be bad for you. But like in a normal amount, seed oils can actually be good for you. They're lower in saturated fats. And if you're going to be buying stuff, you shouldn't be like fear-mongered into not buying this. Especially because seed oils are cheap. So like these people who can't afford anything better are getting fear-mongered out of buying something that might save them a few extra bucks and might go towards other good things for them and their family. And that sucks. And the reason that people do it is to sell them something. To sell them some clean food or some diet plan or some course or some thing that gives them a financial gain. And for some reason, so many people don't see through it. So many people believe it. And if you're one of those people that spreads that stuff, how do you not look inward and see the damage you're causing? Like misinformation campaigns and disinformation campaigns that are based on getting people to not believe science and research and all this stuff is so bad. And it's so much worse than people realize. Like, there's no backbone anymore. There's no backbone. And like, the reason I hate Twitter, the reason this rant is about Twitter, is because when you go on there, everything is that. Everything, every conversation, every post is some form of an argument about one of these big, like, questions. And it's annoying. Because everything, like I said, everything has a response, everything has an argument, and it always ends in, no, these people are lying. And it's just terrible. It's just terrible. Because, like, okay, who are you going to believe? Are you going to believe the people that are trying to sell you something that have a direct financial benefit from you believing this thing? Or are you going to believe the people who get paid to research that thing for their whole lives? And, like, they don't have a financial gain. Well, sometimes they do. Okay, I won't... Listen. The other problem with research and science that I will definitely acknowledge, because I don't think it would be fair of me to go in on all of this with this, like, closed worldview that says all science and research is good and infallible. That is not true at all. And I would never say that. What I'm saying is that a lot of it is good. A lot of research is helpful, especially when it's government ran. Like, that's the thing. Like, if the government is paying for research, like in the FDA, for example, which would deal with seed oils and stuff and have found no evidence of seed oils being, like, horrible for you or killing you. Like, the reason that evidence is good is because they have no interest in lying to you. They have no interest in saying the wrong thing. If you're dying from seed oils and there's a direct and medical professionals notice that you're dying from seed oils, they're going to say, hey, what the hell? And then someone's going to lose their job. What they're doing is they're paid just to research things. And in the scientific community, there's disinterestedness. You should have no interest in the results you're getting. So that means if they research seed oils and find out they're all terrible, and they research seed oils and find out they're all good, then it doesn't matter. They have to report either way. But the thing is, there are also things, there's research organizations that get paid by big companies to do their research, like cigarette companies that paid all these researchers to say cigarettes were good for you. Actually, they said they were good for you at first, and then they said they were fine for you, and eventually, after millions and millions of dollars spent and many, many years, they said they're bad for you. Those are different, and you can see those. You can see through those. They disclose their funding. They and there's clear biases, and like it's obvious when you actually read the research paper. But when you like things from the government has an interest in keeping its people alive. I know a lot of people don't trust the government, and I get that. I understand that because there's a lot of reasons to not trust the government, but not trusting the government to want to keep you alive. They want to keep you alive and healthy because they want you to be able to work. They want you to be able to work. They want you to be able to contribute to the society and to the government. They want you to be alive so that you can pay your taxes. They have a financial incentive for you to be alive. There's no reason for them to lie. And the thing is, like, you can say I'm wrong all you want. You can say, like, no, the government does have blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, like, are you going to trust the government that might have some reason to lie? Or the direct financial incentive people who very obviously have a very obvious reason to lie? Like, why are people so fast to believe this stuff? It's so weird. It's so weird that people trust companies and corporations more than a government. Like, I just don't get it. I genuinely don't get it. Like, it's like not trusting PBS, public broadcasting service. It's just good. It's just a good resource. It's like not trusting NPR. Like, they don't have any reason to lie to you. Whereas freaking Joe Rogan might, you know? Whereas freaking Alex Jones does. Because they want you to buy their supplements. They want you to buy their pills. Here, I actually have a good example of this. This is a daily multivitamin I bought at Costco the other day. I bought it because I've heard for a lot of my life that vitamins are good. And vitamins are good. Vitamins are good. And that's what I kept hearing. Right, vitamins are good. And I still believe that. I still believe that vitamins are good. But then I was curious because I've also heard from some places that vitamins, they don't have any research behind them. They don't have any proof. And on a bottle like this, you'll find every time the FDA has not researched this. The FDA does not back up any of these claims. Okay. And that's okay. The FDA doesn't have to research everything. Okay? That's fine. So I looked it up. Did my own research. And found that vitamins, not only are they not that good, they don't really have any proof of anything, them doing anything. They claim that they can slow cancer and heart disease, and they have done very, very large studies that have shown that they didn't really do anything. They've actually shown that in some men, they can lower the risk of one type of cancer, but in others, it can increase the risk of some types of cancer because of vitamin poisoning. Because there's apparently, okay, this is what I learned. Apparently, there's two types of vitamin, and my source is Healthline. Healthline, Health line. I don't know what their funding is. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure they're good. They're pretty trusted, whatever. There are vitamins that are water soluble and vitamins that are fat soluble. The ones that are fat soluble stay in your system a lot longer, and if you take them too often, they can actually cause a lot of issues because you have too much of them, and too much of anything is bad for you. So I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be taking 5,000% of my daily value of all these vitamins every day. That's ridiculous. Why did I buy these? And I realized the only reason a market for this 500 tablet bottle exists is because a lot of people lied for long enough to sell a product, to create a market. If you get told something your whole life, and I believed this too, I was wrong, and I can admit that. When a lot of people say something for your whole life, you internalize it. You have unconscious beliefs that are so deep and so unchanging that it's so frustrating. I guess my rant about Twitter is a rant about the human mind. Because the fact that my unconscious belief can get me so deep that I buy something before I do research, and that I take it, and that I still, even after reading the research, I still feel like vitamins are good. Vitamins are good. And it did say on the website, to vitamins credit. I'm not going to say all vitamins are bad. That would be insane. I'm not going to say all vitamins are bad. There's a middle line here. I'll get to that in a second. When I say all vitamins are bad, I'd also say if you can't get all the vitamins in your day-to-day diet, a daily multivitamin can be good. Or on days where you're not going to get like all your vitamins. So for me, a college student who like can only eats veggies when I can, like multivitamin is pretty good. So I take it sometimes. That's whatever. But like a lot of people just say like take a multivitamin every day and like no matter what. And that's not true. That's not true, because for some people it's worse. The point is, a lot of this stuff, it was very circumstantial. There's no one size fits all. Clever, right? One size fits all. There's no like one thing that will help you a lot and like save you. Like the only real thing that like has like tons of benefits across the board for having a lot of throughout a day is like water. Everything else you have to have like moderate amounts of. Everything else you have to have a normal amount of, and you can't just have infinite of something and it will make you feel better. You can't just take this thing every day from Costco and it's gonna completely fix your life. It's circumstantial. I remember this thing that went around on TikTok, and I'm sure Twitter and other things too, that said you need a magnesium pill. You need to be taking magnesium every day because a lot of people are deficient in magnesium, and it helps them fall asleep. And there was all these TikTok shop linked TikToks that were like, just had the best sleep of my life. Buy these magnesium pills from me. And it's like I believed that that everyone needs magnesium. And then I like think about it a little more, and it's just not true. Some people need magnesium. Some people are deficient. Just like some people are deficient in iron. I'm not taking an iron pill every day. I don't need it. But like my freaking girlfriend gets head rushes and she might need it. You know? Like it's stupid. I don't know why everyone thinks that there's one thing that helps everyone. There's one right answer for everything. And that their belief is completely right. Like it's always somewhere in the middle and no one wants to budge from the extremes of either side. How? That was my Kung Fu Panda impression. But like, dude, there's just so much misinformation. And there's so much incentive to spread misinformation. Companies pay for people to go on Twitter and for bots that go on Twitter that promote misinformation that will benefit their company. Companies pay for studies to be done that prove what they think. And then people turn around and use those as their evidence. And it's so dumb. Why do you trust them more than the government? I don't know. Like, why do you think everyone is out to get you? I think it's because, we're so individualistic. I know you've heard this a billion times. So individualistic. We think everyone is looking out for their own self. And that's true to an extent. But it's heartbreaking. It's genuinely, heartbreaking to me that no one trusts, the people who work for this stuff. If someone spends their whole life studying the economy, studying the history of economics, studying everything about economics, and then becomes an economist and works for 40 years and then says something like, hey, I think this might be bad for the economy, and a bunch of people say, no, you're wrong. Guys, he's just saying what he thinks. Economists are people too, man. They're just dudes. There's people who are like, I'm scared because I know a lot about this thing, and I know this would happen if this happens because it's happened a billion times in history. And then everyone says, nah. Like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, why? Like, why? And who do you trust if not the economist? Other people like you who agree with you? Like, just because a bunch of people agree doesn't mean they're right. I hope you get the message of this video. Like, I know I'm kind of winding around here and, like, not really finishing any of my arguments all the way. I know I have a way of talking like that. But I hope you understand, like, the general idea of what I'm getting back here. Or getting at here. Getting back here? There's so much wrong. And when things like Twitter and TikTok and Instagram and YouTube incentivize misinformation and rage baiting and anger and fighting and entrenching yourself in, like, these unfounded beliefs, like, where does it end? Where does it end? No one is stopping this. No one is limiting this. No one is incentivized to do this. This video is going to get 40 views. Like, that's what I'm saying. But if this video said, conclusive evidence, seed oils are bad, and I stood up here and said that seed oils are going to kill everyone you know, that'd get like 100,000 probably. I don't know, probably not, but you know what I mean? It might. It has better chance. Like, nothing wants this. There's nothing in the world that benefits anyone for trying to stop this or talking about this. Like, literally, where will it end? Like, so many people per day get sucked into this spiral. So many young people. Oh my God. It is so disheartening. Every time I get like a 8 to 13-year-old in my YouTube chat that comes in and thinks it's okay to just like say slurs or be mean to other people. Just outright mean. Just say someone, just like dehumanize people for no reason. Because they heard someone else do it who they thought was funny. Because that's what gets views. That's who people idolize. It just sucks. Guys, it just sucks so much. There's like no way back. I don't know. If someone's smarter than me, who studied history, probably knows his way back. If you studied history for a long time, please let me know in the comments what that way back is so I can start it. But the other thing I want to talk about, if someone, this should be a rule for any of you who might, I doubt anyone that is really deep in their own beliefs is going to like this video enough to stay through all the way. If you're one of those people, I really applaud you for getting past your own biases and hearing me out. Even if you don't believe me, that's fine. Just like consuming other types of media that don't agree with you, amazing. What I was going to say, if someone is telling you directly, don't believe this source, don't believe these sources, like to a point. I mean, if I'm saying like, yeah, don't believe when the freaking owners of Coca-Cola say that soda's good for you, like, that's different. That, like, obviously, I mean, very obviously. But, like, in terms of news and, like, news organizations, if anyone is telling you at all, don't listen to this side, Don't listen to those. They're always lying. Though that news source is always lying. They don't have your best interest at heart. If you truly believe, if you're one of those people that's like down the line, like, yeah, CNN, MSNBC, I don't know, like ABC, AP, like those are all the fake news, and the real news is like Fox, or the other way, like Fox News, like I don't know, I can't even think of other right-leaning sources, but like all those ones, those are the fake news, and you should only listen to these because these are the real news. Like if you're hearing any of that from either side, don't listen, man. Get your news from as many places as possible. Like, figure it out. This portion of the video is sponsored by Ground News. No, I'm kidding. I don't have ads. I have 1,500 subscribers. You think I have ads? Yeah, I just, me personally, I have AP News, because AP News is like unbiased. Apparently, that's what the unbiased like tree says. I don't know if you guys have seen that chart. But like, if you actually want to learn, which I hope you do, seriously, I think everyone wants to know the truth. I think everyone wants to learn. I think everyone wants to understand the world in a better way. And the answer to that is not going to be the super abstract ones from either side. The answer to that is not going to be fundamentally world changing. It's just going to be little things that you find out as you study and you learn and you research history. Like those are the things, like the little things. Not big sweeping things like all seed oils are bad for you and the government wants you to die. And it's not going to be like I don't know. I can't think of any other examples. But like it's not going to be stuff like that. It's just going to be like little things. Like I have AP News because AP News just says like the facts. AP News is just like, this is what happened. And that's it. And that's lit. I rock with that so heavy. I want to form my own opinions, you know? And if I do watch content that leans any certain way, which I do all the time because I really enjoy it. Personally, I love politics. I talked about this in my last things I like. I love politics so much. I love politics so much. I don't know why. I'm so interested in the inner workings of things, how the world changes, how humanity's like future is based on like how a government makes decisions. That's so interesting to me. And I'm in a bunch of classes about that because I'm interested in them. Politics isn't even my major. I just take politics classes for fun because I like them. But I watch leaning content, obviously. I mean, I like it. I just like it. I like content from someone who's passionate on their side, on their issue, and they want to talk about it. So I watch it. But I know it's leaned. And I'm not going to reference it as like good source. Because what this person thinks is very biased on either side. You know? I'm going to form my own opinion. If my opinion ends up biased, then like so be it. I mean, I'm not saying like you should be a centrist and never agree with either side. I'm saying you should figure it out for yourself from as many places as possible and understand the entire scope of every issue you think about. Shouldn't just be one side. Should never just be one side. You're being lied to. Very often. All the time. It's in everyone's best interest to lie to you. And that might sound very nihilistic, you know? But it's the truth. It's in everyone's best interest to have big popping headlines and big popping thumbnails and YouTube titles and articles and everything. It's in everyone's best interest. So you gotta figure out a way to look past that stuff. And you gotta figure out who you trust and why. You gotta think deeper on that stuff. You gotta think who might have an agenda or a financial incentive to be telling me these things that no one else is saying. Because the things that no one else is saying is a way that people make money. I really hope I mean, this isn't going to change anyone's mind. It's impossible to change anyone's minds. But I hope it makes you question yourself a little bit if you're one of those people. I don't know. I guess that's my whole rant. I'm just so tired. I'm just so tired of this stuff and thinking about this stuff, and I need to get it off my chest. I hope people agree with me. I don't know, man. History is a really scary thing to study. I don't know how many of you have studied it. I mean, I've only just begun. Really, there's so much. There's so much in history to deep dive on. Every little thing has thousands of things written about it and during it. Everything. But I've only just really touched the surface, and it's genuinely terrifying. There's so many parallels. There's so many things that I wish I could scream and be like, this is like this. Look right here. Everyone dies, I wish I could do that, but no one's going to understand that. No one, I can't get I don't know where the right book is, but I can't get, 360 million people to read The Landmark Thucydides because it sucks to read. This book sucks to read. I get it. I get if you don't want to read this, It's 900 pages. But in that book, it is so clear where we're heading. When no one trusts anyone but the person that wants power, or the people that want money, everything just goes to shit. Sorry, cursing. But everything goes to shit. And it's so scary. It is so scary. And to watch what happens in these books, that's just a historical recount, playing out in the real world, it is so scary. And so weird. It's so weird. It feels like I know something that everyone else doesn't. Guys, get a freaking grip. I don't know. Everyone thinks that if everyone else knew what they knew, everyone would change their minds to their point of view. Everyone thinks that. I'm not escaping that, clearly. But man, if a historian says, we have to avoid this, holy crap, that is the person I trust most in the whole world. Because history repeats itself, guys. Oh my God, history repeats itself so often. So, I don't know. That's what I believe. Figure out what you believe. I encourage that. I appreciate you watching. If you watched this far in the video, you're very special. Almost no one does. Almost no one does. I don't know how to emphasize that more. I get everyone who watches my videos watches a minute. But let me know if you watched to the end. Let me know if this made you think any different. And yell at me in the comments if you think seed oils are gonna kill you. So, I'll see you next time. I appreciate you. Bye.